When it comes to creating your first character, it's okay if you have no idea where to begin. I have absolutely been there, and I know how much blood, sweat, and tears go into it and how overwhelming it can be. But it doesn't have to be as intimidating as it sounds or as you make it out to be. In fact, once you get started and develop a foundation for things you can draw from, it sort of snowballs from there. And before you realize it, you'll have a fully fleshed out character that's practically walking, talking, and thinking for themselves. Hey guys, it's Desh, and today I'm going to go over how to create your first character and how to come up with an engaging backstory to help you get accepted on those whitelisted servers like NoPixel. First, let's start with the basics. What does your character want? What do they need? What drives them? What stands in their way? What scares them? What are their goals? Do they have a favorite color or a favorite food? Are they repulsed by anything? Do they have any quirks? Answering questions like these ahead of time can really help as you hash out the nitty-gritty details of your character. The more you start fleshing out ideas, the more ideas you'll get, and it will give you a direction to go off of. By the way, if you'd like to follow along with the written guide, you can find it linked in the description below, along with my free character backstory template, with a ton of questions like the ones I just mentioned to help get you brainstorming. Remember, the cool thing about GTA is that nothing is scripted. Situations are always evolving, but it's still a good idea to have some goals for your character in mind, just like you do for yourself in real life. How would you tell your character's story? What is their arc? Where do you see them in 5 years? RP is like one giant game of improv. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow for the sake of RP. You want to have a path in mind, but just remember that the route you take to get there can change at any time. And you may even run into some hurdles along the way. So it's important to stay flexible and ready for anything. Now, if you're thinking, I'm really good at improv, I'll just make it up as I go. Trust me, as a theater geek and someone who's done years of improv, I promise you will still benefit from creating a backstory for your character, even if you have experience acting or thinking on your feet. The RP experience itself will give you a ton of opportunities to think on the fly. But when it comes to playing a convincing character, you can never be too prepared. Say you start a brand new character with no backstory whatsoever, and the first thing that happens is someone asks where you're from. And you realize you hadn't thought of that. You can rattle off anything, sure, but it might not be an answer you necessarily want to stick with. Again, first impressions are everything. And some facts about your character may be hard to undo or change later on. It is absolutely worth taking the time beforehand to dive deep into your character and what makes them them. Think about where they grew up and how they got there. And remember, these details are not only going to make them interesting, but it will give you something to build off of. Most importantly, coming up with answers to these questions and deciding them ahead of time will ensure you have a solid foundation to draw from. Knowing your character inside and out will make everything else easier. It will allow you to be more creative where it counts. For example, if someone asks you your favorite childhood toy growing up, instead of taking a few minutes to think about the best answer you could come up with, you could be using your energy to come up with a story on why that was your character's favorite toy growing up. Or come up with something clever to add to the conversation that relates back to that toy. Again, knowing fun facts about your character already is only going to help you when an opportunity presents itself. Hammering out the details is a crucial step in developing a strong, memorable, believable character. Remember, the more you know about your character, the more prepared you'll be for any given scenario, and the more natural your actions and dialogue will become. A good general tip in RP is to think of ways to make your character stand out. And this is something that will really come in handy when submitting an application for servers like NoPixel. Whether it's their backstory, their personality traits, or the way they respond in certain situations. For example, maybe your name is Fry Guy. You always wear a French fry mask and you go around asking everyone, did you want fries with that? Maybe you refuse to eat anything but fries. Or on the rare occurrence you accidentally do, you pass out immediately. This is just an example, but love him or hate him, Fry Guy is memorable. That being said, try not to overuse things to the point that it gets predictable or annoying. But having a collection of go-to quirks you could pull out of your pocket for the opportune times can make for a great laugh and some hilarious content. Remember that every person you meet will have their own personality and unique characteristics. So you never know how someone will respond to your catchphrase or your characteristics. which makes each interaction unique in its own right. The more you RP and develop your character, the more natural things will come to you. Before you know it, you'll be instantly responding to things that trigger your character or spark a conversation. Having things you can draw from at any time to give your character a strong identity that is not only recognizable, but something people can imitate is good RP.
Stop wearing my clothing!
This reminds me of the time I invented clothing.
I have to put you down, you're a clone. Attack fake Eugene!
Which one's which, man?
You have to test us what's something only I would know. My grandson's name is Billy. My wife's name is Edna. I would throw it back to her.
Mother...
She'll
I will
throw it
shoot
back
you!
to me. Oof like me.
Oof! You're not even good at oofing. He's an imposter, get him! Get him! Help me, he's impersonating me, officer!
I don't know which one to pick when I can't tell.
What do you mean you can't tell?
I'll have you know I fought in 47 world wars.
50 now, you idiot!
Hey,
Hastings, the
stop
battles,
right
the
there,
battles,
fake
the battles,
What?
the
What
battalion
do you mean
battles,
fake
the battle
Eugene? He's the
battalion of
fake
war,
one.
the war
He
battles,
doesn't
the
even
real
know
one,
them.
war-
After a while, not only will your friends in game be in on the inside jokes, if you're a creator or streamer, your chat will love these bits too, so don't be afraid to reuse your best material. When it comes to character identity, focus on what sets your character apart. What makes them different? What is their signature look, theme, or overall branding? Do they rock a certain color scheme, hairstyle, or accessory? What is their go-to catchphrase? When it comes to how your character looks, do not rush the process. This is your chance to get creative and experiment. Try on a bunch of different hairstyles, accessories, and outfits. Try on something completely ridiculous to see if it happens to work or sparks another idea. I'm a firm believer that character creation is an art, so take your time to get it right. And make sure you create someone you're happy with and are excited to play. As a new player, it can be tempting to change your look, your clothes, your hairstyle, every single day when, well, you can. However, because you're a new player, it may be hard for people that have been around a while to remember your name or your character, especially if you're accepted at a time when there's a huge influx of new players, or if you're constantly changing how your character looks. Remember how your favorite character growing up always wore the exact same thing? This may seem boring in a world where we can change our appearance every 5 minutes, but sometimes having a unique, instantly recognizable look is more important, especially when you're new and trying to stand out amongst a slew of new players just added to the server. Until you've been around for at least a few weeks or have met a majority of the players on the server, I recommend sticking to one unique, recognizable look. By all means, make it your own, make it awesome, but make it memorable. Until others get to know your voice or your mannerisms or personality traits, make yourself recognizable and avoid drastically changing your look. My character, Dr. DESHRESPECT, for example, can always be found in a black hoodie with devil horns and some form of no pants, since I do run the no pants gang after all. Whenever my friends and I get into mischief, it makes it easy for people to identify us due to our lack of pants. By the way, if you ever want to catch me RP live, feel free to follow me at twitch.tv/desh please. When it comes to choosing a personality for your character, make sure to choose something unique that can really set you apart. It's also fun to play around with the different personalities and walks you can choose from in-game. Say you play as an old man. Maybe you want to use a walk or a personality that makes you hunched over when you walk. You can also use things like prop emotes that will let you pull out a walking stick. You may even want to change up things like this in certain situations. Say after an accident, for instance, you may want to use something like injured male or injured female to make your character walk with a limp. Just go slow, my ankle, man, my ankle! There's a lot to choose from, so play around to see which fits your character best. And make a point to remember others you may want to use later on. And don't be afraid to try something new when the situation calls for it. It could make for some really good RP. By the way, if you're looking for more info on emotes, shared emotes, or prop emotes, check out my guide linked below. Now let's discuss clothes, appearance, and accessories. As I mentioned earlier when we discussed character identity, I highly recommend sticking to a signature look to make your character instantly recognizable. That being said, there will be times when you may want to change your look or throw on an accessory to further enhance the RP. Some accessories can be changed anywhere, like throwing on a pair of sunglasses or a mask or a hat. While changing your clothes, your hair, or facial features need to be done at a specific location. On some servers, you may need to visit a barbershop or a hair salon or a tattoo parlor, depending on what you need. While on others, any clothing store or apartment closet will do. And don't forget to save your favorite outfits, so you can easily change into them whenever you need to. Keep in mind, some servers strictly forbid you to significantly change your appearance in the middle of a car chase or a heist. for obvious reasons. So again, do your due diligence for your server, and when in doubt, just refer to the rules or ask in Discord. And if you're someone brand new to RP, whether this is your first time ever creating a character, or you've RP'd in the past, but this is your first time creating one for GTA RP, check out my complete beginner guide full of tips and advice for new players where I cover absolutely everything you need to know to get started in GTA roleplay. You can also find that link in the description below. Having multiple characters is common for most RPers, especially when they all have completely different looks, personalities, accents, or things that set them apart from one another. However, for someone new to RP, I highly suggest sticking to one character to perfect first. The more solid and comfortable you become with your first character, the easier it'll be for you creating additional characters moving forward. Once again, when you apply to most whitelisted servers, they will have you focus on just one specific character. So make sure you spend a good amount of time hashing out the details of that specific character so they're not only solid for your application, but also your interactions on the server. By the way, if you're not sure which servers to apply to, I have a guide covering the best non-whitelisted and whitelisted servers and how to apply to them. You can find it linked below along with my other guides, like how to find your Hex ID or Steam IO, mistakes to avoid as a new player, in-game settings, and more. And if you're looking to join a community with others interested in GTA RP, join my brand new subreddit, GTA RP Hub. I'll link that in the description below as well. And if you found this video helpful, please like and share it with someone else new to RP. It really does help me out. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to pop into my Twitch stream or leave a comment below. I do try to respond to every single one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!